Hey everyone, welcome back to Rocky Watches Movies. Today we're sinking a hole in one with some trivia from the classic 1980 comedy Caddyshack. This cult film, with its mix of gophers, golf and pure mayhem, has stood the test of time as one of the greatest comedies of that era. But while we all love the slapstick humour and quotable one-liners, there's a ton of fascinating stories behind the scenes that even the hardcore fans might not know. So grab your driver and let's tee off with 20 things you never knew about Caddyshack. Caddyshack was born out of writer Brian Doyle Murray's personal experiences. As a teenager, he worked as a caddy at the Indian Hill Golf Club in Illinois, and many of the scenes in the film are based on his real-life encounters. The elderly couple who struggle to hit the golf ball, the wealthy country club members, and even some of the caddy character traits all came from these formative years. Brian's brothers Bill and John Murray and director Harold Ramis also had golf course work experience, giving them a shared understanding of the bizarre world of country clubs. Before Rodney Dangerfield's unforgettable performance as Al Chervick, producers had their eye on another comedy legend, Don Rickles. Rickles was famous for his sharp wit and insult comedy, making him a natural fit for the role. However, when Dangerfield's TV appearances on The Johnny Carson Show became a hit, the producers changed their minds, thinking he would be a better fit for the brash, over-the-top character. As for Danny Noonan, the caddy caught between his working-class roots and the upper-crust country club, Michael O'Keefe wasn't the first choice either. Mickey Rourke was initially considered, but the studio rejected him, saying he wasn't funny enough for the role. When they blew up the gopher holes, the owners of the Rolling Hills Golf Club didn't actually give permission for it. They were concerned about potential damage to the property, but producer John Peters had a crafty solution. He arranged a fancy dinner and scenic boat ride for the club's owners, distracting them long enough for the crew to set off the explosive scene in secret. The golf course survived and the scene became a comedic classic. When it came to the film's explosive climax, where Carl Spackler, played by Bill Murray, blows up the golf course, things got a little too real. The scene was filmed near Fort Lauderdale International Airport, and the pyrotechnic team created such a massive explosion that a passing commercial airliner mistook it for a real crash. The pilot even reported the crash to air traffic control. The now iconic gopher wasn't a major part of the original script and was in only one scene after filming Wrapped. It started out as just a hand puppet, but after the first edit of the film, the producers felt the movie lacked structure and a central plot. To fix this, they decided to add the gopher as a main character, making it Carl Spackler's arch nemesis. The infamous swimming pool scene, where a candy bar is mistaken for something far worse, was inspired by a real event Brian Doyle Murray witnessed in high school. Someone had thrown a candy bar into the pool as a prank, and the ensuing chaos became one of the film's funniest moments. To avoid any legal issues, the production team changed the brand of the Baby Ruth candy bar, but one shot shows it as a Baby Rut, missing just the H, and in another as a Baby Runt. Unfortunately, like many great movie moments, science has now ruined this scene. An experiment conducted by 2 children on YouTube concluded that the chocolate bar in question wouldn't actually float. If you're enjoying the video, a subscribe to the channel would be a hole in one. Caddyshack was initially written as a coming-of-age story focused on Danny and Tony, but once Bill Murray, Chevy Chase and Rodney Dangerfield were cast, their improvisational skills took over. Murray's Dalai Lama speech and Dangerfield's insults at the country club dinner were all made up on the spot. The actors' chemistry and comedic genius turned these unscripted moments into some of the film's most memorable scenes. The first cut of the film was a whopping 4.5 hours long. Much of this time was taken up by the cast's hilarious improvisations, particularly Bill Murray's Cinderella monologue, which originally ran for 30 minutes. More than 2 hours were cut, reshaping the film to focus more on the comedic performances of Murray, Chase and Dangerfield, and less on the original storyline about the caddies. Bill Murray and Chevy Chase, 2 of the biggest stars in the film, hadn't shared a single scene together. Given their history of tension on their time on Saturday Night Live, this wasn't entirely surprising. However, Harold Ramis realising the missed opportunity, called for a last-minute addition. Over lunch, Murray, Chase, Ramis and Doug Kenny quickly wrote the now infamous showdown between Carl Spackler and Ty Webb. And though their SNL rivalry was well known, they were extremely professional during their one scene together. Filming in Florida came with its own set of challenges. The brutal heat during the 11-week shoot took its toll on the cast and crew. The late-night partying didn't help either, leading to exhaustion and delays. To top it off, a hurricane hit the area, flooding the set and bringing production to a halt. The crew's hotel floors were covered with earthworms after the storm, adding to the chaos. In 2001, Bill Murray and his brothers opened a restaurant inspired by the film, called Murray Brothers Caddyshack. With locations in Florida and Illinois, the restaurant has menu items like Noonan's Nachos and Loomis Hummus, keeping the film's spirit alive in culinary form. Fans of the movie can enjoy some tongue-in-cheek dishes while soaking in the nostalgia of this comedy classic. In 2011, the production manager of Caddyshack, Rusty Lemerand, sued the producers of the documentary Caddyshack: The Inside Story for $6 million. He claimed the documentary falsely accused him of being a spy on set, reporting back to the studio, which would have been cleared up in deleted interview footage in which he stated, "What happens in Florida stays in Florida." The lawsuit was ultimately settled. Harold Ramis has said the film is structured like the dynamics of a Marx Brothers movie. Bill Murray's Carl Spackler was modelled after Harpo Max, the silent physical comedian. Chevy Chase's Ty Webb mirrored Chico Max with his quick wit and charm, while Rodney Dangerfield played the Groucho-inspired character with his fast-talking, insult-laden humour. Rodney Dangerfield delivered the final line of the movie, "Hey everybody, we're all gonna get laid," on a whim. Ramis has said it was a totally improvised line that I can't believe I left in the movie. It makes absolutely no sense. Luckily, the Gophers' dance to Kenny Loggins' "I'm Alright" brought the film to a triumphant close. Caddyshack was co-written by Douglas Kenny, one of the co-founders of National Lampoon. Tragically, Kenny died shortly after the film's release in 1980. He struggled with substance abuse, and after receiving some terrible reviews for Caddyshack, his addiction worsened. He went on vacation to Hawaii with Chevy Chase in an attempt to dry out, but after Chase returned to California, Kenny went missing. His body was later found at the bottom of a cliff. Though his death was ruled an accident, many believe it was suicide. The set of Caddyshack was notorious for its drug use. Producer John Peters recalled seeing Rodney Dangerfield doing drugs in front of him at the audition. Chevy Chase also admitted that things got wild during the production, with golf cart races and all-night parties, though he insisted no one was using drugs during actual filming. Before all the script alterations to accommodate Murray, Chase and Dangerfield, the film was going to end with Danny Noonan headed for college, only to abandon his plans and hop on a plane to Jamaica to follow a pretty girl. During the filming of a topless scene with Cindy Morgan, who played Lacey Underall, producer John Peters tried to sneak a Playboy photographer onto the set for an impromptu nude shoot. Morgan had agreed to go topless for the scene, but had in no way signed up for this shoot and argued with Peters, who bullied her and threatened to sabotage her career. Co-star Michael O'Keefe and Ramis had her back, and Peters eventually backed down, but the incident left a bitter taste. In a surprising twist in 2020, Michael O'Keefe returned to his caddy roots, serving as a real-life caddy for pro golfer Danny Bailin at the US Open in New York. O'Keefe was one of the few cast members in Caddyshack who could actually play golf. Harold Ramis once quipped, "It bothers me that nobody in the movie except Michael O'Keefe can swing a golf club." The original Caddyshack was a box office hit, making over $60 million. However, the 1988 sequel Caddyshack 2 was a disaster. With only Chevy Chase returning from the original cast, the sequel lacked the same comedic punch and magic. Harold Ramis, who wrote the first draft of the script, distanced himself from the final product, calling it terrible. The film bombed, and is often listed as one of the worst comedy sequels ever made. And there you have it, folks. You now know a little bit more about Caddyshack. If you enjoyed the video, which I presume you did as you got this far, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos coming to Rocky Watches Movies. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.